Attention, forward-thinking business leaders. Are you ready to unlock the secrets of success and propel your organization to new heights? Then mark your calendars, because an exclusive opportunity awaits you. Introducing the Center for Public Service Productivity and Development Membership Workshop, the ultimate event for business owners, CEOs, directors, managers and decision-makers like you. Join us for a transformative experience that will revolutionize your business organizational strategies. Imagine being in the presence of industry pioneers, thought leaders, and visionaries who have achieved remarkable success. At our workshop, you'll gain direct access to their invaluable insights, innovative strategies, and proven techniques. This isn't just another conference. Our workshop is designed to ignite inspiration, foster collaboration, and provide you with practical tools you can implement immediately. Network with like-minded professionals, exchange ideas, and forge powerful connections that will impact your business for years to come. A direct involvement of being a member of senior professionals. Don't miss out on this exclusive opportunity to take your business career to the next level. Seats are limited, so secure your spot today. For physical participation, venue, Sheraton Lagos Hotel Ikeja, Lagos. For virtual participation, live via Zoom. Visit our website at www.centerforproductivity.org. Reserve your spot now. Contact us, info@centerforproductivity.org +2348035878800.
Since 2016, is a foundation member since 1999 of United Nations University Institute for Natural Resources in Africa, College of Research Associate, Accra, Ghana. Is a member of Agricultural Society of Nigeria since 1994. Is a pioneer national president of Academic Staff Association of Research Institute, now ASRI. He was the National Business Manager of Genetic Society of Nigeria from 1993 to 1997. He's a life member of Genetic Society of Nigeria since 1989. He's a member of International Society for Differentiation, ISD, since 1980 to 1999. His consulting experience is a trainer with Lagos State Coconut Development Authority, LASCODA. Is a consultant, Coconut Growers Association of Nigeria, Hogan. Is a consultant, Ondo State Chapter of Kogan. Is a supervisor officer, NIFO Library Services, 1990 to 1999. Is a chairman audit team on NIFO Coconut Experimental Station, Obiaja. Academic qualifications and institute. He holds postdoctoral international certificate on application of biotechnology to plant breeding and crop protection in coconut. Mikocheni Agricultural Research Institute, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. He also holds postdoctoral international certificate on plant biotechnology from the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA Ibadan. He also holds postdoctoral international certificate on plant tissue culture technology, African Bioscience Network, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Also, he has postdoctoral certificate in computer application Agricultural Project Monitoring and Evaluation Unit from Federal University of Agriculture, Nigeria. He also obtained his BSc Genetics since 1976. He has his MSc Genetics in 1979 and his PhD Botany, specialization in genetics and biotechnology in 1984 from the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria. He has over 45 journal publications. He has attended over 25 conferences, and he has written over 12 technical reports. Other activities, he has engaged on Coconut Talk on NTA network through their national program Periscope, free of charge in collaboration with the Coconut Growers of Nigeria National Executive. He has also emphasized on the importance of coconut on NTA network, free of charge in collaboration with Coconut Growers of Nigeria National Executive. He was a senior lecturer on sabbatical from in 2006, 2007 on genetics and biotechnology. University of Benin postgraduate student supervision 1994 to 2017. He has also supervised training in University of Benin postgraduate student, Faculty of Agric and Department of Botany in Genetics and Biotechnology. He was the head of plant breeding division in NIFO. He was the pioneer head of tissue culture and biotechnology division. He was assistant director and acting head plantations department in 2012 to 2014, director and head coconut research for development and development department in 2015 to 2017. My colleagues, my friends, my friends here, you will agree with me that we have no other person to tell us about prosperity through productivity and how to build a successful agricultural value chain than our own Dr. Joshua O. Odewale, FCP. Sir, and he's also the chief consultant of Oshia Consult Agricultural Services. You are welcome, sir, and you can take the floor.
All protocol duly observed. I want to appreciate the CeProd board for giving me the opportunity to make this presentation. And part of the reason was that it seems to see there's so much money that is put into agri, yet it is not as productive as the expectation. And that is why we are making this presentation, because agriculture is a time-bound issue that must be done as at Wendy and by the right set of people. So slide 1, please. Well, we find that experts work at every level of the crop production value chain. And these experts include geneticists, plant breeders, agronomists, pathologists, plant disease experts, biochemists, soils and nutrition experts, agricultural economists, extension workers, and so on. Because agri is an all-embracing issue, because we are dealing with a living thing. And successful crop production needs purposeful and meaningful cooperation among all the various experts. Successful production requires open-mindedness, and regular training before the beginning of the project to survive the modern challenges of human city migration and congestion and overpopulation, climate changes, declining available agricultural land, and pressure on food and raw materials production for human survival and profitability. The focus on agricultural production should be on coordinated training for all stakeholders in agricultural production to make crop production for survival, because every other aspect of man and agriculture is dependent directly or indirectly on plant products. Plants are the only natural source of oxygen for man and animals. And so there's the need for us to take good care of them. The components of a successful agricultural value chain. One, personnel and expertise. Before the beginning of the project, there should be an expert, that's a consultant project coordinator of the specific crop whose target is productivity and achievement for the set goals. Moreover, the planting materials is of utmost importance. The choice of the planting materials can make or mar the project and should be based on the dream product. The cooperating personnel must collaborate with each other without personal or professional pride, as well as other destructive interferences. What we mean by this is that a lot of people do not know that in plants there are various products, and that these various products have been developed to the level of productivity. For instance, let's take the case of poultry that everybody is familiar with. You can imagine, in the poultry business, there's the cockerel, and now they have noila. But if somebody just carry money, I want to do poultry, and give money, what do you want them to give you? Proportion of them. And if you are interested in egg production, how can the cockerel lay egg? So that is the beginning of any success in agricultural value chain. Not only that, the crop of interest, because a lot of people just believe that agric is agric, but there's the need for you to find out what you want. Is it a perennial crop or annual? And this also should be dependent on your dream product. The cooperating personnel must collaborate with each other. And not only that, some of the diseases that are adapted to by the local varieties will kill and destroy the exotic. So local varieties are directly or already adapted to the environment in terms of disease resistance, environmental conditions, while the exotic varieties are not so much adapted to the environmental condition. Some diseases that the exotics are adapted to in their base, in their home countries, can become and cause an epidemic in their new environment, destroying the local ones, and also the environment can make them to be susceptible to what they used to be resistant to, thus destroying the productivity and even the agricultural value chain, because the older plantations will be destroyed, the new one being established will be destroyed, and that will be a failure in terms of prosperity. Well, for CeProd, we have this information for concerning membership. CeProd members will receive the slides and recorded video through the members' repository digital library. Non-CeProd members will receive free training video, but you must request for it. So it is not compulsory that we should force it on you. So if you want, you make a request. Gratis, free. Please send a chat requesting for the materials. And in that chat, include your full name, your email, your phone number. Of course, there is the optional e-certificate of participation or attendance. That one will cost 5,000 naira as an evidence of participation. Please indicate in that chat if you want an e-certificate and slide. Back to the lecture. Components of a successful agricultural value chain. When we are talking about plants, because that's where we are putting emphasis for now, there is the need for good location for the nursery, for location and management. The choice of the nursery site must encourage the sprouting, good and healthy development of the seedlings in the nursery. It must be disease and rodent-free with good source of water around it. A lot of people will have experienced that when they plant somewhere, when it is time for flowering, the plants will wither. Or they will plant in the nursery and overnight, grass cutters and whatsoever will just go there and destroy. And what has been destroyed is capital flights, because it cannot be replaced. Crying does not make a difference. So there is the need for you to have the right nursery site. And the people who can do that, that's why it is emphasized at the beginning that before you start the project and along the project, there must be the expert, because somebody is an annual expert may not be able to handle perennial in the same way, because there will be a difference due to experiences that everyone has gathered. Moreover, you have to choose a good site for planting and management. The choice of sites must be scientifically evaluated in terms of topography, soil testing, and nutritional status before any form of land preparation can start. Each newly developed variety has its own agronomic planting package, including spacing, fertility, environmental, and weather conditions. It also includes product and nutritional improvements. What this one is saying is that, like the case of a particular organization, they planted oil palm, and the oil palm, as at the time when it was planted, it was the top of the class with 3.6 kg of palm per plant, per hectare. But as at now, the productivity or production of the oil palm has led to about 18 to 21 tons per annum. But those people still insisted that because the farm is still producing and that the age of farm is 100 years, they are still harvesting. But it is not an unproductive investment because one, what it will take them to climb that palm to the top, they will have harvested maybe about 4 or 5 other younger palms. In addition to the natural productivity of the palm. And when the bunch is coming down, of course, it will scatter. It means they have to employ picker who will be picking the fruits together and so on. And those are the things that make it look as if agric is not as productive as you're expecting. But in some other places, it is. And this is because we always underrate experts in any of our fields. You see that people will not go to the hospital until they cannot move. That's when they'll be looking for doctors to come and do remedy. People will not call engineers when they are building until there's a building collapse or about collapse. That's when they'll be looking for them. Meanwhile, they ought to have planned with them from the beginning to let them know everything. The situation of an organization that went and bulldozed everything, covering water courses. And of course, what do you expect? Flood. And flood will kill the seedlings, and their seedlings cannot become productive because they are dead. And as long as you continue to replant in that place, except there is amelioration, there can be no productivity. So we cannot overemphasize the importance of getting experts involved in every aspect. And the experts are always working, especially the breeders, on improvement of whatever breed they had before to ensure productivity and prosperity for the farmers. But the farmers, that was the case. The government gave some farmers cassava sticks and for free. And of course, when they collected it, they abandoned it. When I asked them, the cassava stick they gave you, did you plant it? He said, Daddy, there are so many cassava sticks. What are we going to do with that? I said, look, why don't you go and collect? You think they will just give you for nothing? And that is our attitude to anything that is new in most of our states. Because of that, we continue to do the same thing the same way and expect improvement. There's the need for us to have a rethink, and the rethink will only come through training. Because when we are trained, we see the importance of everything. Concerning field establishment, the density of plants per unit area of land for maximum profit is important. There are some people before they planted, they have made up their mind that, oh, per acre, I'm going to spend so much. When they get to the place where they are going to buy the seedlings, and they told them this is how much, instead of buying either 60 or 120, or sorry, 150, they will go ahead and say, look, I've already prepared the land, and I'm going to prepare 200. And I've seen cases where they even employ the experts to be in charge. That was, sir, this number is not the recommended number. If it is too much, it will not. They say, look, is it not my money? Am I not the one paying? Do it the way I want it. And of course, when the time now comes, you will say, oh, these things are just growing tall. They are not producing. Why will they not grow tall? The food that is meant for one is now being shared by about 5 or 6 because you think you have the money to buy the planting materials, even though you bought it from the right source, but you are not giving it the right environment to give you prosperity. Some tribes in Nigeria say you cannot say because you have money, you want to use the status of money you have to eat salt. The food will be uneatable because you need a pinch. And because you're a millionaire, you go and put a whole spoon inside your soup. you will miss it. So there's the need for us to allow the experts to work so that we'll be able to get the right profitability. The health stage of the seedlings before planting. There are some, they are just thinking of, oh, I've spent so much to raise these things. And so whether they are good or bad, they must be planted as long as they are not dead. That's what they call roguing. In other words, the ones that are not fit, that are not good, that will not be productive, right from the time when they were small, you will remove them. Because if you don't, they will occupy land. You'll be clearing for them. And there's nothing to pay you. And you even spend more money trying to put fertilizer on something that is unproductive. For example, in the oil palm area, they are giving the hybrid tenera. Interestingly, the male plant of the hybrid is sterile. Sterile in the sense that it will produce, but before it reaches maturity, it will get rotten. The male is mainly kernel, and the farmer wants palm oil. So if you buy the hybrid, it will give you a very high productive level of oil, which will lead to prosperity. But people will prefer to go to anywhere. Why? Because they have already cleared the land without planning. And so they say they cannot leave this land like this for next year. So anywhere. There are people who have planted so many hectares, and at the end of the day, nothing. And the palm is supposed to start production after 2.5 years. Nothing. They will now come back and say, oh, the things people go and bring your receipts. They say, they didn't give us receipts. They did this. Why don't you go to the right source? Get the material that you want, so that you'll be able to lay your hands on your right prosperity. Moreover, the plants must be protected from rodents, because you are invading the space of the rodents by going there to establish a plantation. And so they have the right to think that what you have introduced is because you love them and you want them to eat it. So it's your responsibility to let them know that this is something that is very important. A lot of people will think, after spending so much money, why do I have to? Of course, the rodents will not listen to that. They will finish it. And that is why some plantations, when you get there, there are so many vacancies in the sense that they are empty and nothing is going there, but you have to be clearing it. If not, it will become a danger zone or some other things. Also, protection from weeds, pests, and diseases. There are some weeds, many weeds. They will not eat it, but they will trap the nutrients. Experiments have shown that over 75% of the nutrients in the area of the crop is taken over by the weed, because the weed will take it, it doesn't need it. Of course, it will reflect on the nutrition of the crop that you have planted. So that's why we are talking about ensuring that weeds are not there. And there are some insects that when they enter into the palm, especially the coconut, and they are able to have access to the very young portion, they can kill it no matter the age. Because interestingly, the palms are non-branching. So if they kill the meristem, that's the youngest portion, that would be the end. And it's the same thing for other things, other palms, other crops, other animals. Because if you don't take care of them and you ignore diseases and sicknesses, of course, it can wipe out the generation. And by wiping out the generation of your interest, it means prosperity is taking off from the thing. Then timely planning and regular monitoring. Agriculture is not the kind of thing. Agriculture is more or less like an emergency. You cannot say until I have the money before I can plant when you have already started. You cannot say until you have the money before you can protect your plant from rodents and so on. Because by the time you are working, those ones are enjoying themselves, having buffet. And at the end of the day, prosperity is gone or limited. And you find people talking about, agri doesn't pay. And when we are talking about timely planting and regular monitoring, we are saying that, yes, you plant at the early rains. But somebody that does not, you can imagine in Nigeria up till recently, they are supposed to plant between May and June because that's the rain period, the rainy season. But if you do not allow the money to come and you bring the money in November and you are saying you have already made up your mind, you are going to plant this year. You have already made up your mind to put your money inside the oven, whether it's borrowed or it's your own, because it cannot be productive. There are many people who planted corn this year, and because of the rain pattern, many of them, they started, but they never produced because they dried up because of the long session of dry season. That's why we are talking about timely intervention in agri, whether at national level, state level, individual level, or corporate level. And regular monitoring. The importance of regular monitoring is that if you detect a disease, because there are some people, yes, they are experts, but they do not know the difference between the natural appearance of some crops and the one that is diseased. Like in coconuts, you find out that there's the yellow coconut, there's the green coconut, there's the red, and so on. But because people have been hearing of bitter yellowing disease, some experts, when they see yellow coconut, they say this one is diseased. And unfortunately, because of the position that they have put them, nobody can argue with them. That's why I emphasized at the beginning that the breeder should be the one to start the race. The race in terms of planting materials, because the agronomist will help you to ensure that you planted at the right spacing and so on. And of course, the pathologist will come in when there is disease or sickness or whatever. So when we do that, we find out that we can quickly terminate infection, disease, and any other problem. Then another component of successful agricultural value chain is that right from the beginning, you must think with of the distribution network of the materials that you want to produce. And take a decision on your product distribution and strategy. You can either look for off-takers, that is, those people who will just be coming to buy directly. You have agreement with them, they have agreement with you, and when the thing is produced, they will come and take. Or you can collaborate with other producers, wherein 2, 3 farmers or whatever can combine together to reduce the cost of transportation, and other things. And of course, they will have a place that a distribution location where people will know that whenever they are looking for these products, it's always available. And when you are doing this, you still have to think of new customers, because there are some budding customers who are in their need but do not know where to get it. And those who are getting it, some of them may just tell them, yeah, if you go to so and so place, you will get. But if you don't leave room for that, to say it's not available, that's non-availability and reduce productivity, can reduce productivity and prosperity. But that it is available, you will have more money to extend your farm size so that you'll be able to make more money. And of course, when it comes to harvesting is a very serious matter, because you have poachers, you have the animals, and even the harvesters, they are not always available. So because of that, you have to think of that and make everybody to know that they must bring something to the table. So it's not just a matter of coming to collect money for work done. No, they must be seen and known and made to be aware that they are a part of the project. And that was why I kept on emphasizing training, because you can imagine if you have an accountant and they say, oh, they need money for manure, and he said there's no money now, and he's giving people money for transportation. Meanwhile, the goat that is laying the egg is sick. But if he knows that if they don't, because if you go and buy whether fertilizer or manure during dry season, how will the plant be able to use it? That is why everybody must be trained. Everybody. So it's not a matter of those who are in the field alone. The administrators, the customers, and everybody should be able to understand what it takes for all of us to enjoy prosperity in agriculture. Well, interestingly, most crops, and before I leave the harvesting, all harvesting must be under strict supervision by reliable experts. What this one means is that as far as the harvesters is concerned, some is the number of bunches that they harvest that will determine how much they are going to pay. Some, it is a time-bound thing, but it is better to make it the number of bunches before payment. And because of this, some will harvest immature bunches. And when you process immature bunches, of course, it will not produce oil. And it's the same thing for everything. Because there are people, if you are on to maize business, and because you call people to come and harvest, and they harvest the ones that are not mature, of course, the people can buy it. But when they find out that these things are not fully mature, they may not come next year. And that has reduced prosperity because there was no productivity in terms of the usage of the harvesters. Well, interestingly, many farmers are not aware that each crop has its own characteristics that when you really take advantage of, it can lead to prosperity. For example, the oil palm. Well, Many people are not aware. The same palm will produce male flowers. The same palm will produce female flowers, but at definite period of the year. In other words, if it is going to produce male flowers, it's going to be for 6 months. And during that period, there will be no bunch to process for oil. And when the female starts, there will be no male. And that's the time they are always producing. You know, the period of the male is what they call lean period. That is when palm oil and is usually very expensive because it's not available. And the people in the business have to stay on the business. They have to pay school fees. They have to pay their rent. They have to move around with the current cost of fuel. And so, what can be done? Just like what was written in the case of Egypt in the days of old, during the period of prosperity, the period of high production, they have what they call post-harvest handling. In other words, they kept the excesses. They did not allow them to get rotten in Oyibo market. They did not allow them to get rotten in other markets. But some people bought them, which was the government at that time, to preserve them so that when the time now came and it is no more available for people, they were now able to collect money from those who had but wasted the opportunity because they did not know that, oh, this period of production will not last forever. So there is the need for us to be conscious of the nature of the plans that we have. Then we still go back to CeProd. I'll say some things about the membership, and as CeProd members will receive the slides and recorded video through the members' repository digital library. Non-CeProd members will receive free only the training video. Please send a chat requesting your free materials. And in the chat, include your full names, your email, your phone number. And this is optional. If you feel that you need a certificate, e-certificate of this lecture, for a token of 5,000 naira, you will get it with the slide. So we move to the lectures again now. The role of stakeholders in keeping the farmers in business for human food security. Provision of the following by the relevant agencies: education, good potable water, good road network, rural electrification, cheap primary products processing equipment, good functional extension workers. This can only be successful when stakeholders are educated to realize that the above is for their benefits and will be jealously guarded by the host community. I have something to say about this. It's not that the government of Nigeria is not trying concerning agricultural progress, but the people who they are doing it for were not educated to see the importance of what the government was doing. Sorry to say it. Well, it's not sorry, it's history now. During President Obasanjo's regime, he insisted that various institutions from the south to the north, in the east, that they should collect outstanding coconuts so that they can establish nurseries. And then from there, it will reduce transportation of having to go down to deforestation to go and collect materials and so on. These things were produced. Some did not carry, so some institutions did not even bother to come and collect, even though it's allocated to them. Some that collected just abandoned them somewhere. They did not plant them, and they did not give it to people who are ready to plant. Why? Because they were not educated on the reason and what they are going to benefit by planting. Well, it will shock you to hear that there's a state in Nigeria wherein people planted oil palm, and then some people gathered themselves and called themselves Free Harvesters Association. You will just go to your farm, harvest, and leave. So how does prosperity want to come in such a situation? Definitely, if there are no buyers, there will be no takers. But a time came when their conscience, maybe the man decided to abandon the plantation. When their conscience now pricked them, they say they will want to have a meeting of the Free Harvesters Association and the plantation owner. Of course, the plantation owners have to listen to what they want to say first before they can know what to do. So those are the kind of things that we see that drive people away from agriculture, because agriculture has to do with food security. And when we are talking of food security, people putting food in their mouth and on the table. Because most of the time now, you don't even have enough food to put on the table. It's just to put in the mouth. But when they discourage those who are planting, many of them will withdraw and they'll be riding Okada. And that's why the price of Okada has gone up. Because no matter the number, they still have their school fees to pay. They still have their family to feed, and so on. So there is the need for education. It's not a matter of money alone. Palliative cannot solve the problem. Let the palliative start with education. And the education must be given by people who have experiences, so that when the people hear, they'll be able to know that this person has not just come as a politician, but he has come to speak and tell them the truth. There are some certain things that I consider as wrong foundation for agricultural enterprise. Some will go to agricultural enterprise without consulting agricultural experts on matter, no matter the amount of money easily available for the project, avoid recurring failures. Because some people, maybe they just give them money and they have heard that, agri, so they want to go to agri. But rather than going to people who can lead them the right way and staying with them, they will rather ask people around who they themselves don't want to be like to come and be the one to give them advice. There was the case of an agricultural expert. He was invited from Oyo State to Edo State to come and oversee the plantation that they want to establish. The man went there and he told them, the materials we are giving you are special materials. And this is the way to plant. He planted the first size of land. By the time he came back, he found out that the man has changed the planting process. And when he said, but this thing was not what I gave you. Your workers were there. I trained them. He said, when the farmers came to look at the farm, they said, this is not the way they plant it to. This is not the way they plant it to. Interestingly, the expert had to leave. Not because they sent him away, but he said he cannot take his personality and integrity on such a person. The man has the money, but he believes that the farmers knows better than the expert. So the man said, well, to your tent, O Israel, since you trust those people, let them establish it for you. It became an abandoned project because what they supplied them, they were things that have been tried to be working. And these farmers were not aware of this new technology. And they went to the man and said, I want to get my green. They said you should plant it like this. That's not the way we plant it. So he told them, go and plant. So you cannot afford to avoid using experts. Never go to agricultural equipment because never buy agricultural equipment because it is cheap or readily available without prior consultation with experts in the field before acquisition. You see, some people just feel that, there are some trees, if I just fell them now, it will make the land to be level, and so I can plant. Meanwhile, the topsoil is important. So they will bring bulldozer, do everything, block the rivers. And at the end of the day, you end up managing rather than you end up working on how to ameliorate the errors that were created in ignorance rather than managing the farm for prosperity. Moreover, never make your agricultural project, production project, a family compensation strategy without agreement on what such people will bring to the table. You see, there are some people, they feel that, once I establish this agricultural projects, the members of my family, both nuclear and extended, they will be able to find their daily bread. But it is your mind. They have to be trained. You have to tell them, what do you want to put into this thing to make it a success? Because one, their own mind is that, our relation has gotten stolen money. If you like, go and borrow from World Bank. That he has gotten some stolen money. Let us make our own money from it. The next thing is that, this is our project. We can't be going to buy what we are producing. Meanwhile, it takes the man something to produce. Then the next thing is that when their friends now come, they will tell them to come over to the farm to come and greet them, that they are the supervising officer. And when those people are going, they will give them packages. One has experiences of such. I will give you some vivid one. There was the case of a man who decided to go into poultry farming. And his main source or his main focus was on egg production. Of course, when the eggs started dropping, the workers were picking the big eggs keeping them for sale. So the same people who ought to buy from the farm and leaving the pullets, the small ones, to be sold for the farmer. The man, because he knew that he got the layers from the right source, call the vet doctor, see my problem, or down say, okay, what you will do is that give them vitamins, feed them like this, deworm them. They did everything. There was no change. Because the people who are the source of the problem are the workers. So a time now came to say, look, you yourself, how often do you go to the farm? He said, Shebi, they know he's busy. He said, don't you go on leave? Go there without their notice. Of course, when he got there, you know what the workers were doing? The very big eggs, they were throwing them into the bush to break them so that the production level, even in the presence of the man, will remain what it used to be. Maybe it's 1 day loss for them. Subsequently, they can continue. And on the case of somebody who said, oh, my sister will be able to take care, he brought the sister to join them. They say, sister, is it your sister you want to serve to the end? Look, we used to make it before you came, and we are still making it. Now you know. So when they now take what they want to take, they will share the sister's own. And that one too was enjoyed until the owner now came unannounced. When he said, hey, I caught you, they say your sister is always also involved. So that is why we say there's the need for regular visits, regular education, to let everybody know that the farmers can only survive when there is prosperity in the field of choice. And moreover, it's not that politically you cannot say this is the project you want to do for the people, but educate the people. I had the opportunity of, being one of the people that give lectures concerning the introduction of some crops. And the people were there because it's a political gathering, because it was a politician who said, let us, when you were talking, all that concerns them is, how much are they going to pay us? When are they going to pay? All this one that they are saying now, we have what we are doing before. So until the people are ready to unlearn, learn, and relearn, there will be minimal progress. And that will mean minimal prosperity in the agri sector. Moreover, buying cheap materials from unknown sources is a problem. For instance, if you move around in Lagos State and so on, you see some coconut palms, less than 10 fruits, less than 20 fruits. But you get to some places and you can even get up to 150. But the people who are selling to you, they are the ones who, when they harvested the coconut was germinating. So it was not an intentionally prepared coconut seedling. It was accidental. And of course, they will sell it cheap. You will buy. And when the time comes, you find out that they do not meet your dream production. That's why I said, when you want to buy, agricultural things are not things you bought along the road. They should be bought from places that are renowned. And unfortunately, the places that are renowned, because of the media status now, that you have to pay for everything, cannot even be known. that this is the place where they produce this. This is the way you can get it. Because the people don't even have enough money to do their projects, not to talk of having money to go and advertise. So at the end of the day, the government or the institution will be paying, but if they don't have money to spend on making people know the qualities of materials that they have, you may find out that we remain in the same location concerning prosperity in agricultural value chain. Well, I've already spoken about this. There are people who are lawyers, medical doctors, engineers, who felt that because of their professional training, they can have a say over what the agricultural expert is telling them. At the end of the day, it will be a failure. Apart from the one that I said of somebody, I didn't want to mention the profession, who employed an agriculturist, a trained agriculturist, and insisted, this is the way I want this to be planted. Like the one said, that my people perish for lack of knowledge. And that they have zeal, but their zeal is not based on knowledge. And now they have opportunity of learning. They refuse to learn. So at the end of the day, they'll be grumbling when they say agri doesn't pay, Jare. How will he pay when you didn't do it the way it ought to be done? So there's the need for us to allow the experts to do their work. And when we withhold fund or quality material at the needed time, it leads to poverty. Because the things that we do not take care of when they ought to benefit, we end up dying. And there's nothing you can do about it. And then cutting corners during the process of execution of the project. That was the case of an organization who had a wave of disease infection in their plantation. Initially, they called the experts brought the pathologists prepared what they needed. And instead of allowing themselves to be trained, because they told them, let us train these people. They say, oh, Shebi, they have seen what you have done. They went and bought the materials. But many of us that are hearing me now, we know that buying a material in Nigeria does not guarantee quality. Because like NIFO, before they buy fertilizer from anybody, they will still do laboratory analysis to ensure that the components is same, that is, it is what they wrote that is there. So these people went and bought what they saw from the market, thinking that the experts are overcharging. At the end of the day, when they used those things, it did not work. They now called the experts, but by that time, a lot has happened. The experts said, what happened? Maybe this thing was controlled before. Somebody now came to the back and said, oh God, they went and brought somebody who said he knows what to use. So you cannot afford to cut corners. Well, these are, you will see some pictures. The one on the left is coconut. You see how many are there, even at such an early stage. And that was why I was saying at the beginning that the choice of planting materials will determine the kind of thing that you want. Because there are some people, their coconuts They want it for water. But interestingly, many people who were talking about coconut water do not even know what it means. Coconut takes 12 months from pollination to maturity, which means it takes more period than the period of development of a child in the mother. But when it is 9 months, the water is full. When you shake it, it will not shake. But that kind of nut cannot drop. Somebody has got to go up and harvest it. And that's why the cost of the coconut water is about 4 or 5 times the price of the mature coconut. And if that is what you want, then it means you must get the variety that has maximum water and that is sweet. Not only that, you can have those that are not so sweet, but you see, being a natural preparation by God, it does a lot of things in the body. But this is not the forum for it. We are talking about bringing productivity by extracting and improving prosperity in agri. So when you look at that picture, you see that those ones are there. Then when you look at the one on the right, that is oil palm. At 2.5 years, 3 years, they have started production. But if you get it from the wrong source, it can be 10 years. It will not produce, except you want to turn it into palm wine. So you see, the mistake of not getting the right material from the right source will hide from you until when you feel that you ought to be getting the dividend of your planting before you know that you have not planted the right thing. So you get the dividend, but the dividend is poverty and sorrow. So that's why we are employing you, that there is always the need for training, so that the people who are saying, there are some people, they will give them money, go to so place. They will not get there. They will buy along the road. And because they are trusted, the guy will not question. But where problem now comes to say, they nearly got there. Some people tell them it's the same thing. So there's the need for us to know that there's a lot of adulteration because there is no productivity in searching for prosperity. So you see that, like I told you, there are some coconut seedlings that are accidental, but you see that these ones, they are coconut seed nuts that were prepared for germination. They know their mothers. The mothers were selected. And so when it is time for them to plant, they will still grow. And then, of course, your expectation will be higher in this one than the one that you bought from unknown source. Well, let's talk about the role of CeProd in your productivity. CeProd became a legal entity on the 11th of December 2008 with registration number RC30518. The Center to Public Service Productivity and Development was registered as a non-governmental and non-profit organization, a world-class productivity center in Africa. Of course, the centrality of productivity for all sectors of the African economy calls for concentrated efforts and measures to reverse the declining trends in the productivity of third world economies, hence the intervention of CeProd. Of course, you can see the list of CeProd Governing Council, Professor Sandy Kumar Gupta, PhD, is the FCP, is the president. Engineer Dr. Adeyemi Gbenga Apayomi is the vice president, FCP. Dr. Chris Egbu, FCP, is the director general. Professor Miriam Abdu, FCP. Engineer Dr. Solis Akwafu Akande, FCP. Mr. Kilechi Abel, FCP. Barrister Oluwapelumi Edmond Nilsson, FCP. Dr. Joshua Olusegun Odewale, FCP, as the current presenter. Those are the members of the council. And of course, the CeProd governing council members still include Dr. Aminu Mama Lau, FCP, and Oloyede Ajola Adeni, FCP. So I present unto you our governing council members. And also, CeProd in the news. If you want to get us, then there are some awareness campaign in the national and international publications. And some of them are how Nigeria GDP can increase by Center for Productivity. Then the newspaper, the Sun newspaper of 22nd May 2021 use PR to boost productivity. And of course, we have the modern Ghana of December 7, 2019. Of course, for productivity, News Agency of Nigeria, November 2020, post-COVID-19 era, firm offers free personal finance course to help audience and many others like that. So the membership benefits, we show our members the best productivity principles, values, standards, and practices as a crucial factor or performance of their organization and businesses. Our members understand that increasing personal productivity raises their living standard and enhance national productivity. Members benefit. As our members, productivity improves the more their income improves them. Of course, increasing our members' productivity also help their businesses to be more productive. Perhaps the main benefits of becoming a member of CeProd for productivity are in the classes of members, fellow, and applicants. The provision of recognized that denotes a high level of professionalism, competence, and performance standard. A member, a monthly newsletter, and special research reports keep members informed about emerging issues in the profession, locally and internationally. A unique opportunity for strong development. Members frequent opportunity to exchange ideas with experienced professionals so as to update and expand their skills. There is an ongoing program that involves productivity coaching purely to assist members in understanding the main determination or drivers of productivity growth, and certain factors are critical for determining productivity growth. Listing in the online CeProd membership directory, international networking among business leaders and professionals. Members have access to a repository library that contains e-resources that promotes productivity. In conclusion, agricultural produce, when well managed, can bring prosperity, good health, food security, and peaceful coexistence, and take much burden from the shoulders of the governments and the people. Thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate your presence.
Thank you so much, the speaker. You will all agree with me that the speaker has done justice to this topic for today. Most especially at this time, we have found ourselves in the country where value addition is very important in ensuring that you have a successful agribusiness. Whatever you're doing in agribusiness, if there's no value addition, you hardly make a lot of profit or profit that is commensurate to the effort you have put in the business. I will want the audience to make comments, questions, and also some suggestions. Some can post it on the chat box, and some can indicate by raising their hands, from which I will select but I will also advise we go straight to the point, either the comment or the question. But before then, let me make some comments. In agriculture, there are various value chains. We have the crop value chain, we have the livestock value chain, we have the horticulture value chain, we have the aquaculture value chain, and we have others like the honey value chain, shea butter, cashew. You can choose from whichever value chain you want to venture into and get expert advice from Dr. Joshua or any expert that you think understands the area of interest. If it's in the crop value chain, we have the cassava, we have the maize, we have the rice, we have the soya, we have the cocoa, we have sesame, we have wheat. Any of them you can venture into. In the livestock, we have the broiler, the cattle, the goat, the sheep. All of these are lucrative and they are very good agribusiness. Horticulture is another new area where people are making a lot of money from food, from vegetables, from flour. The flowers you see, as small as a flower is when you go to some shopping mall, you see a small pot of flour of 30,000, 50,000. And this one you propagate, you see the value addition in it where you can make a lot of money. I also want to stress that you may not really have the interest in going into practical agribusiness, or you can invest in agribusiness that somebody is doing. Take for instance, you can be an agricultural financier. What do I mean? You know, a farmer that is planting, he has 10 hectares of land, but his capacity can only give him the room to cultivate 2 hectares. You can partner with the farmer, take the remaining 8 hectares, supply him with the input, and at harvest, you can get back a percentage of the harvest he's going to get. People that have ventured into businesses like this, like last year, some people were giving 15,000 per bag of maize to 25. This year, some people collected 25 to 30 for both soya and maize. As of today, we are saying soya is over 100,000. So you see the people that have ventured into the investment of agricultural financiers will get more profit and more value than the person that has done the planting. You may have some agricultural innovations. You may have some connections with somebody that knows how to develop agricultural software that can monitor plantation, that can keep data, that can keep history of crops being planted on a land for a particular season, how to do some crop rotation to get a very good yield. Some will tell you that planting a maize by 30 centimeters each apart will give you a good yield. Some will tell you you can get 5 to 8 hectares of maize in a particular land where somebody is getting 1 ton per hectare. So when you get people that have this kind of knowledge, you can sponsor in the software technology they have that can be sent to farmers, and it will help in boosting business. You may also see some areas that have good dam closer to them or good water source. You can decide to invest in buying some irrigation materials, either sprinklers, either pumping machines, or any irrigation equipment, or even build a reservoir where the water can be collected just near to a farm of maybe onions or whatever the farmer is planting, and you can discuss profit sharing at the end of it. Or you may be in an area where paddy rice is mostly gotten, but they don't have rice miller or rice milling company or factory there. You can decide to find another collaborator or somebody you can partner with across, maybe it may be interstate, it may be interlocation, it might be anywhere. Just say, okay, we are going to supply you 2 trailers of paddy rice. What we want you to do is process this particular rice to our own brand, bagging and whatever, and send it back to us, then you sell. These are very good investments that one can do in the agricultural value chain. You can as well decide to say those people planting palm trees in their location, like the southeast, south, to invest in a machine, a processing machine there. Once when they produce the palm oil, you can take it to the north or far locations where you think you can maximize profit. You can also explore areas of post-harvest handling and storage. Most of the agricultural produce that people produce, in their location, they don't know how to store it. When soya came out, some people don't have a place to store it. And most of them were selling it at the price of 60, 70,000. This is still the harvest period of soya. And soya price has gone to over 100,000. So if you have a place where you can convert for storage, it's also going to help. I did a discussion with somebody, and I said, a house, you have a 3-bedroom apartment where in some locations it's just 350,000 that you may give, and in some locations 500,000. It depends, and some places 800. But if you can buy some soya or get people that have soya or maize to talk in that same accommodation of 3-bedroom, at least you can comfortably keep more than 300 bags there per bag. If you make a profit of 20,000, multiply by 300 bags, it's more than the house rent you are giving to somebody that will stay in that accommodation. So we should be very open-minded in exploring opportunities in the value chain of agriculture. They are so enormous. They are untapped. There are most of them that are still at the infant stage. And when we use collaboration, when we meet experts to discuss ideas, we'll see that indeed we are getting more value for our effort and more value for our business. And we look also to always ensure that we learn, relearn, and unlearn, like what the speaker said. Most people don't want to attend trainings. Most people don't want to engage experts to advise them on what to do. There's no bad thing with just getting an idea from somebody that will help you improve on the one that you have already known. A simple information somebody will tell you will add up to the knowledge in which you already have. So collaboration is always very, very important. I remember a farm where we visited, and when most of them were trying to buy some equipment from abroad, spending a whole lot of millions of naira. And we went and we asked them those questions. What are you going to do with this when you bring it? The thing is, the person selling the equipment will always want to sell the equipment at any cost to you. He will not want to reduce it because that is where his performance target is tied. So he will give you anything that you need. Some of them will never tell you, you don't need this in this particular set of equipment you are getting. Or you may get an alternative of it in social location in which it is going to be cheaper for you when we use it, which is adaptable to our situation here. And again, we can form a cooperative group where you can approach some government financial institutions. Mostly, people prefer dealing with a cooperative body. So if you think you are not in your location, you can form cooperative body to approach the government for financial support. And from the comment section, I see Christopher O said, I need to know more about farming. Yeah, you can.
Can I have
Then also Dapchi Darjo. The presentation is sorry, please. Can you mute your mic? Dapchi Darjo said presentation is very insightful and very important for further advocacy to our farmers in the rural area. And that is why the speaker made mention of collaboration with extension service workers. And we believe in this, our gathering, we have a lot of people that can also help in the promotion of advocacy to the needed quota. Then I have Dr. Kabir. Okay, before Dr. Kabir, let me give room for some comment. I can see Salisu Ado M. Salisu Ado M. You have the floor. Or if Salisu is not there, can Ago Collins take the floor?
Morning, everybody. I'm very grateful. My name is Collins. Dr. Diwali is my boss. And, I'm very grateful for this opportunity to listen to his very scholarly presentation. And I want to say that he has a way of managing people, and he talks about the value chain in terms of agricultural productivity. While he was at the Nigeria Institute for Air Farm Research, we know that sometimes when you have acres of land, for instance, you have a large expanse of agricultural production in terms of coconut. The problem we have most times in this value chain is not only pests and diseases that lead to crop losses, but human factors also can play a role in the harvest. So I would like him to share with us how he was able to manage losses due to, apart from pest and disease, human factors. Because sometimes people may want to invest in agriculture and you may not be there, you may be somewhere else and you have an expanse of land where you have your crops. But in the harvest, instead of expecting like 50, maybe 50 tons, then you have 15 tons. That's a huge loss of 35. It may not be due to crop losses and to pests, but human factors. So I want you to share with us, if he can, how he was able to do it, why he was at the Nigerian Institute for Air Farm Research, so that when we expect 50 tons, we get 50 tons. No losses from humans, whether it's due to his human relations or how he was able to do it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ago. The speaker will respond to this question, then we'll take the next one. The speaker, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Ago. During that period, you remember what we did was to have a meeting with not only the stakeholders, but also the community things to die. You will have to travel to go and get it. And we now decided to call upon their leaders to have meeting with them. And we told them to plant, we gave them 2 per family to plant. Because when you have in your compound, you won't feel like going to steal or going to collect from other places. And that one has helped because, like we were saying that time, it was the quotas. So even though the people had, but definitely people are still having, the institute is still investing. Because what we told them is that if it's in your compound and it's able to survive, you take 50%. The institute will take 50% because we gave them the outstanding materials instead of allowing them to go and buy whatever they want in the market. And it seems as if it works because people are now making efforts to get them also to plant in their various villages and so on. So that's what we are saying about cooperation, making the people to know that they are contributors to prosperity and letting them know that there's the need for everyone to work together for the progress of the institution and the nation. That's what God help us to do.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm very grateful for the response. And I also want to use this opportunity to thank Dr. Duale once again for giving me the leverage to do my PhD in Europe. I enjoyed, my PhD. It was instrumental in the scholarship I had, and I'm very happy. And right now I'm calling you from Europe. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, Mr. Collins. Thank you. Mr. Tajudeen, Dr. Tajudeen, please.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the intellectual lecture being given by Doctor. In fact, it's well loaded. But my own concept about value chain is all about value addition, adding utility to an agricultural production of produce. Now, what I want to say is that in that value chain, we have the production ring, because every chain has a ring that has to be joined together. Then we have the production ring, we have the processing ring, and we have the marketing ring. So all has their prerequisite knowledge to be well acquainted with for better productivity. So the farmers should be able to understand that before you can even go into processing, because there are different knowledge attached to processing. So each farmer should be able to understand that, oh, I have to understand how to produce very well. Then before I now understand how to process, then the issue of marketing is also very key in that aspect. Then we have to consider the some of these the precision agricultural farming speaks volume. In case that you won't be able to waste a lot of resources. You won't be able to waste a lot of resources when you are farming, and you'll be able to make a lot of profit therefrom. Then before even going to production, I don't know, I joined a little bit late. I don't know whether the other prof or doctor has highlighted that. The issue of pre-farming activities, farm planning, understanding the calendar of work, having good record of whatever you want to do. Some farmers don't even have anything as planned concerning their activities at all. Then they don't even know whether we have the problem of climate change. So we have to have a good record of whatever we are doing. Then ability to understand every organism, the crop and animal, they have their specific characteristic feature. In crop, we call it plant phenology. There are the specific time for each crop to grow, to start producing leaves, to produce flower. All those things have to be well acquainted with. Then they have to manage the labor as well. There's something we call sharp practices. There's something called sharp practices in labor management. If care is not taken, a lot of losses will be incurred in that respect. Then record keeping. In fact, that's one of the key aspects of ensuring that farmers have high level of productivity. And you have to keep record of whatever you sell, whatever you buy, so that you will be able to know whether you are making profit or not. Then training and retraining has been said. The use of sustainable agricultural practices, like I said. Then advocacy. Some farmers don't even, they are so ignorant, but they want to know. Whenever you are discussing with them, this is how this thing should go, and they say, oh, and I don't know. We have a lot of room to create a lot of information awareness about a lot of some of these so that can achieve productivity altogether. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tajuddin. The speaker can comment on this.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. You will see that agriculture is not something that can do even in a 1 day or 1 week lecture. But this is more or less like an introduction of principles that can make things to work, whether it is animal or plant or microbe or whatever. And that is why the emphasis has been on training, because most of the time, people don't want to be trained. They think they know. They don't know, and they don't want to know. Because even if you carry all the extension workers to a place, they will just come and say they will be comparing you with what they are doing. Except they have confidence in you. Maybe you have interacted with them and they say, this person knows what he's doing. So all these other ones, like the record keeping, if you don't keep record, if you don't know the crop, that's why we're talking about the oil palm having male for a particular period of the year and having female. All those ones are telling us about what even the chairman mentioned, that those are the sources of prosperity. Because like he mentioned the case of soya. But you see, when it comes to soya, it's not just a matter of going to buy soya and keeping them somewhere. Insects will finish them. So they still need experts to let them know how to do it, where to do it. For instance, there's the need for aeration. But those are the things that we cannot be mentioning all those ones here. So the summary is that most of the things that were mentioned, if you go through the lectures, it has given you the tip of the iceberg so that we see the need to collaborate with experts. And when you are talking about the people, of course, like we said, the people needed to be educated, but you cannot educate somebody who doesn't trust you. Many people don't trust the government, and it extends to whatever project the government has. So the need for us, those who know, to come together and try and see what they can do to ensure the purchase of confidence, purchase of confidence of the people, of the farmers. Because like Dr. Awo mentioned, so a lot of people, when they plant, when it is harvest, the harvest loss is due to human activities. But if they know that, look, 5 farmers were involved this year, because when the man was hiring land, he didn't do anything. When he was clearing, he didn't do anything. When he was fertilizing, you didn't do anything. The man now went to check whether the thing has matured or not. In the night, you came and harvested everything. How does he pay the money that he has gone to borrow? But if we make them to realize, because it's not a matter of agri people alone, even in our worship centers, it should be mentioned that stealing is not the best. It's not the best. It is what can you bring to the table that matters. And when you are thinking of what to bring to the table, of course, you should have an idea, because you who is going to steal the raw product to eat, like the word of God says, that he gave food to the eater and seed to the sower. So you should become a sower, not an eater alone. So it's not something that I mentioned something about the communication avenues, wherein people are expected to talk about how to nip this hunger and unproductivity in agric at the board. But people will rather be reading and writing some other things rather than talking about what will make agricultural productivity to be prosperous. I think we all have to think about it and do something about it. And that is when we'll be able to move forward. Because even the fertilizer you are buying, the components are not, most of the time, what is listed. If you go to the market, you buy oil, it is not genuine oil that you buy. They will have adulterated it, add this, add that. Why? Because there is not enough for the people to buy. So when we allow ourselves to be educated, we see the need for us to cooperate and make things work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Joshua.
Thank you, sir.
Salisu Ado Mohammed, you can take the floor. Salisu Ado Mohammed.
Mr. Salisu, kindly unmute your mic.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Salisu Ado from Dawanau International Grains Market here in Kano State. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
We are hearing you.
Yeah. I would like to express my appreciation to the presenter. He has indeed done a justice to the topic. But as one of the commenters said, the agricultural value chain is numerous. There are so many opportunities. It is not necessary that you must go into farming. You may buy and store, sell later. You will get a lot of profit, and you may be a supplier to our local industries. We have many local industries in both here in the north and the south that require raw materials such as soybeans, groundnuts, maize, and so on. And also there are international exporters that need such as commodities such as sesame seeds, soybeans, and so on. These are all opportunities that if you have the capital, you can go into it without necessarily going into market. If you come to Dawanau market, I don't know, Dawanau is the largest international grains market in sub-Saharan Africa. And all the exporters that are coming into Nigeria to buy our grains, sesame seeds, soya beans, hibiscus flower, and so on, come to Dawanau market. So the opportunities here are numerous. I would like to invite any interesting person to come and explore the opportunities here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alhaji Salisu, for that comment and information. Christopher Oni, you can ask your question. Are you there? Christopher Onilio. Okay, so if you are not there, let me read some questions and comments from the chat box. Hello, sir. The fear of agricultural financials is commercial toss in the business. A lot of people have given farmers money to carry out joint venture business, but at the end, farmers will always come with one story or the other. Sorry, Christopher, hold on. We always come with one story or the other, so people don't have trust in the farmer. So my advice to Mr. Bolaji Abola is definitely in business like this, these are some of the challenges, but how you mitigate it is very important. People are still doing it, and some people are making money from it. Babangona is into it, Afex, and Faningona, and the rest of them. So if you think you've gone into it and they always give you stories, always ensure you have a legal backing, legal agreement with people you are giving input to for business. And if one fails you, you can also try another group or try the leadership of cooperative groups or the village head or somebody that is prominent and is very respectful in that community. I think you're going to get value for that agribusiness sector. I don't know if the speaker has comment also in this regard.
You see, one thing is that, like I said, we cannot underestimate the importance of discussion. That is what I refer to as training. Because like I said, the people believe that when you are giving them money, it's out of excess. So you need to let them know and bring an external person to come and explain, because when you're explaining, they have already had their own preformed idea. So when the external person is there and he said, look, when you do this one, it is beneficial to you. It's beneficial to the community. You don't have to travel to have access to this thing, but you will keep yourself in business. I see another thing is that the community, some of the time, they need assurance because they feel that they are just taking everything from them, giving them peanuts. But there are ways. For instance, where I worked, initially, productivity was very low. But I had to let the workers understand that when they are paying you what you call peanuts, it is not the salary for what you have done. It's a kind of scholarship for better training. So that when you leave this place, you'll be able to establish yourself or establish others. And of course, their attitude changed. And moreover, in some plantations, you can give them, instead of just maintaining grass, you can locate some places if they are the people that you trust, so that they can do some planting. And then when they harvest, it will augment whatever you are giving to them. Definitely, they will do it in your absence, but they will pretend as if they are not doing it because you did not give them permission. So we need to interact, ask the people, what is your problem? How do you think it can be solved? And then you present your own problem and how it can be solved. And then there'll be a resolution. And what the chairman has said is very important. But you see that some of the time, the people that do legal thing, you cause more problem. Not that it is bad. You do legal thing for people who understand legality. If you do legal thing with people who do not understand, you are just wasting your time. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, the speaker. At this junction, we apologize for the people that have not made comment because we've exhausted our time. We'll just give some few minutes for the council members to make their comment, and then we end the program. The council members.
Okay, we thank sincerely the speaker, Dr. Joshua Odewale, and we also appreciate other council members like Solos Akonde, Kelechukwu Adeola Oloyede for coming. And we believe that we have gained a lot, especially from this sort of training. I have not just gained, but I've practiced it. This year, I store oil, some palm oil, and oil I stocked at 29,500. We started selling at 7,000 to about 45,000 per jerry can. So as at now, oil is selling in Lagos up to 50,000. So there are a lot of money in agricultural value chain if we take it to heart. But most often, when we come to lectures like this and listen, not practice it. And by not practicing it, we do not gain from it, because it's only when you practice what you learn that you can gain. So we appreciate all. It's not everybody that will say something because time has gone. So I would like Adeola Olede to give us a vote of thanks. We appreciate all. If you are still there.
Thank you, Dr. Chris. I want to appreciate the chairman for a wonderful program, Anchorage. I also want to appreciate our own Dr. Odewale for bringing his word of experience to bear on us, making us to realize the potentials in terms of productivity and prosperity that's available in agricultural engagement and production. I also want to thank every person, from the board members up to the other members, and also our guests that are on board today. I know you must have, one way or the other, been giving some sort of knowledge, across some sort of knowledge from the little message that the doctor has been able to present to us today. I want to thank you all for coming, and I hope that this will lead to some of us coming to pick up membership forms and join our noble organization, the CeProd, Center for Public Service Productivity in Nigeria. Thank you very much for coming, and God bless you all as we go out. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. And bye-bye. Thanks all.
And for all our audience, we look forward to seeing you in another live webinar where we learn and improve on our productivity and service delivery to wherever we find ourselves, and also in our various.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure to be here with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. This is it's a well thoughtful of you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much, President and the team.
Thank you. Blessing Obe.
Thank you very much for this wonderful lecture, and we look forward to seeing more of them in future. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Okonko. Kerebel, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, welcome.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Doctor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day ahead.
Yes, we appreciate everyone.
Okay.
Thank you. Well done.
I am Adi Mungin. Thank you very much for also allowing me to participate as a first timer. I learned so much, acquired so much for the fact that I've been longing to get in touch with this kind of program. I'm just a novice, but I wanted to. I have a 3 plot of land that I aim at using for agriculture, but I haven't heard much from the honorable speaker from the beginning. I'm so very much amazed that I have a lot of way to go, but having been with in the midst of you're our grandparents, because from what I'm seeing, you are my most elders. So I pray that I should not have missed, and I should not miss any of whichever steps that needed to be taken. I would like to join the CeProd, and I have a contact trace that I'll be able to know more and on how to proceed into the agricultural and the farming process, so that I won't get lost in between or along the line while trying to become what I have aimed to be. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks a lot. Just take the contacts that are on display. You can continue exchanging ideas and tell you more. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.